I'm Dr. Bev Smallwood, and welcome again to the Magnetic Workplaces Show. We're about to start a series that's going to be critical for your success and your long-term endurance at work. You know what happens. One day you can be on top of the world, and the next day the world can be on top of you. You can get that difficult boss that replaced the one that you really loved, and you don't know how to function. And speaking of functioning, you can have dysfunctional coworkers that really love to stab people in the back or gossip or not pull their part of the load. In these economic times, it's not sure that you'll even have a job. And either you might get laid off or someone else beside you. So many things can happen. A disappointment that you didn't get that promotion that you wanted, or the very thing that you hoped would succeed. It was your dream, it was your hope and your plan, but it didn't work out. It's critical when these things happen that you have some tools to use to help you get through those hard times, keep fresh, keep encouraged, keep challenged, and keep going. This series is based on my book, This Wasn't Supposed to Happen to Me. 10 make or break choices when life steals your dreams and rocks your world. And we'll apply that to the workplace setting. I'm really eager to get started with it. Now, there are two sides of adversity. The things that happen to us that just weren't supposed to happen, they can either defeat and destroy us, or they can stimulate a rate and a depth of personal growth that just never would have happened in calmer times. You see, those things that happen, we can't control. We really don't know what's going to happen next. Sometimes we do our best to control our life and to plan and be responsible, but we don't always know what's going to happen, and we don't have control of that. But guess what we do have control of? Our own responses. You really can't control what happens to you, but you certainly have some control over what happens in you and through you. You know, a client of mine said something that I think really is good for us to think about as we think about this series, and that is this. She and I were talking about, does time heal all wounds? That's kind of a myth, I think, that time heals all wounds. And she said it best. Let me tell you what she said. She said, it's like if you break your arm. Over time, it will heal, but if it's not set properly, it'll heal crooked. So things happen to us and we think, well, okay, I'm kind of over that. And yet, when somebody mentions something that reminds you of it, or that coworker kind of pushes that button again, you find yourself bristling. So it's really important that you do the work. Do the work of making those choices. And these are not one-time choices, but they are a choice of a pathway in each one of the 10 cases. So now let me introduce you to those 10 choices. Choice number 1 is denial versus reality. Choice 2, victimhood versus responsibility. Choice number 3, why versus how. Number 4, doubt versus faith. How about number 5, bitterness versus forgiveness? And then there's the companion to that, guilt versus self-forgiveness. Choice number 7 is isolation versus connection. Choice 8, depression versus grief. Choice 9, avoidance versus courage. And choice 10 is powerlessness versus purpose, a very important topic for you to have meaning in the workplace. And we'll spend a session on each one of these choices. And again, you can read more about them in my book, This Wasn't Supposed to Happen to Me. Let me remind you as we close this segment today that no matter what happens to you, you do have the power of choice. William Ward said it best. He said, adversity causes some people to break and others to break records. In this series, you're going to learn how to take the things that happen to you and turn them into opportunities at work and at home to actually break records. I'm ready to take those steps, and I hope you'll take them with me. And we'll begin that on a future segment of the Magnetic Workplace. Thanks for coming. See you next time.